Okay, I'm back. This is part 8, and in my last video, I was talking about the Millennium Period and what we'll be doing. Now, the next period I'll talk about. This is back in the garden, and we were talking to Yeshua, and he's like, you can go in the water. Remember the water I was telling you about, that there was like a spout where it came out from the mountain right above from the temple area. It came down and kind of pooled, and then it went down. So he's like, you can go in, and check out the water, because for some reason I was really interested, and I wanted to see if there were any fish or guppies or wildlife. I didn't know, but I wanted to check it out. So Candy and I went in, and at first it was about midway to the shin, and I was just kind of walking around, and I got a little braver and walked a little down more, and I was like above my knees. Further down, the further you go down, the wider, and it becomes like this huge river, and you can't cross it. Anyway, I was checking it out. I was looking at the water, and I really wanted to test it. I mean, like, taste it to see what it tasted like. So I was like, I wonder what it tastes like. And before we went in, Yeshua said, look, I don't want you drinking the water. You're not ready for the water. And I'm like, Remember when I was telling you I was very rebellious and I wasn't ready to go up, that I snuck through the back door basically? Anyway, his back was turned to us, and I'm like, kind of looking around, and I'm like, I put my palms together like this as a cup, and I just took some up, and I had like just a little drop hit my tongue, and I saw something happened. I just saw like different colors, and my spirit felt different. It like changed somehow. Now, this is the living water that we're told about, and the moment that little drop of water hit my tongue, Yeshua turned around. He was so mad. He said, "Get out." And I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble again. So we both get out. The weird thing about the water is I wasn't wet when I got out. So it's kind of different when I guess you're in your spirit. And he's like, you're not ready for this. You were not supposed to do that, and you did it anyway. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But yeah. So at that point, but I forgot to tell you something. When we first came into the garden, and after I spoke to Yeshua, Lurch and I were kind of walking around and stuff, but we also went to, remember I was telling you about the trees, like the fruit trees? This is a really interesting. This I can't believe I forgot it. But anyway, um, I walked up and there was like, I don't know if I knew these people or, but they seemed to know me, and they said, and they kind of came around me, and I think they were curious what I was going to do. I don't. It was weird, but I was really curious about this fruit. And they said, well, you can pick one if you want and eat it. And I'm like, okay. So I picked one off, and it looked like a pear. And when I was a kid at that age, I don't think I've ever had a pear before at that point. And so I took a bite, and it wasn't ripe. It wasn't ready at all. And it had that really gritty, weird texture to it. And so I kind of spit it out, and they laughed. They were like, I will pick one for you. So one of them went to a tree, picked one, and then handed it to me. And I'm like, okay. So I took a big bite, and it was really delicious. It was just really juicy and really good. And I said, oh, that's good. And they were like, I wish I would have like asked them who they were if I knew them. But there was just so much going on at that time that I was just like, this is craziness. Okay, so getting back to this, um, so Yeshua took me to like remember where I told you where the angels were standing in front of him? Well, beyond that, right on the edge, like of paradise, we walked out there, and it was still in the green grass, and he like drew a big rectangle like a window into the grass, and it opened up, and he said, look inside. So I looked inside, and I saw a multitude of people standing down in there. It was dark. It was like a basement. It was like smooth rock for the sides of the walls, and all these people were standing really close to each other, yet they were oblivious that anyone was around them. And I was just really curious. So I went down inside, and I looked up, and there were these windows, small little windows that brought in a little bit of light, but you could only see a little portion of like the temple, and just a little bit. And people were looking out the window. They were really like more upset that they had not made it. Sorry. That they didn't make it to the other side than anything. And I walked up to this one lady. She was an older lady, and she was dressed in street clothes, because you're either dressed in like flesh clothes, like what you would wear, or you are given a robe if you're on the good side. So they didn't have robes on. They were dressed as a burial. So, like what I was telling you about my sister, when she came to me after she had died, and what we had talked about, what she'd wear, well, the reality of what she actually was dressed in, her husband had picked out her outfit, and he had asked me, what do you think she should be dressed in? And I told him this sweatshirt, cowboy boots, and jeans, but he dressed her in a dress, a nice dress, and what's really strange is the coffin that she went in was the coffin that she showed me the night she died, that night when she came to me. So, yeah, that was it weird. Anyway, going back to the lady, I was looking at her. I'm like, she couldn't see me, and she just was waiting. It's like all these people were waiting to get out, and they're waiting for the millennium, that they may have a chance to learn the truth and get out. But that was very strange. It was dark in there, and it was like you could go into different areas, because Candy showed me the same thing, and it's just a freaky little reality that whether you're in a cell or just trapped in a dream that you cannot get out, going over past things. It was, thank God that God is fair, that He will give you a chance if you've never heard the truth. And it's up to you. I mean, so anyway, I got out and I said, what is that? And he said, well, that's the bad side, if you don't make it. And so then he closed it up, and then he said, follow me. So I followed him over to the other side, kind of a little past the garden, and he pulled up a globe of the earth, and he said, I want you to watch this and write it down, what you see, and tell my people. I said, okay. So I saw that the earth, the globe, the earth, it was bright, vibrant, and yeah. And then I started seeing like whirlwinds, storms, going all over in different various places over the world. And as time went on, there were just more and more and more of them. And then I saw like a dark cloud. It started in patches, and eventually it just all formed into one, covering the earth, so that there was no light, hardly any light that you could see coming out from it. And the earth just shook, just shaking. And then, let's see, he said that that was birth pangs, and that point he said that Candy and I needed to talk to God. It was kind of like my trial, because we both had killed ourselves. So I was really afraid, and we were taken up, and we both hit the ground. Like, facing God is it's not probably, it is the most fearful thing in the world. Nothing scares me more than that, because I know that He has the ultimate authority over what happens to me. Anyway, we were both just shaking, and I was just like, oh my God. And then I was more like, wait a minute, I'm here because I wanted to talk to Him, and this is my opportunity. So I stood up and I said, I was still afraid, but I had to say this. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like I was there, I was getting my chance. So I said, look, see what's happening on earth. Why can't we have a better family? Why is all this going on? I mean, you can see it's a terrible place, and we want to stay here. And when he talks, it's like a thunderous roar and lightning. It's just but when I was talking to him, it was as if I was his child, and he was very gentle with me, and he explained my purpose, and that I would be going back, and it would be okay. He wasn't mad at me. He's mad at those who go against him, flat out against him. So, I just got this notification. Anyway, it's very distracting. Anyway, so I was very relieved that I got to talk to him, and that he was fair with me, and he understood. But he said, just because you came up here this once does not make it where, if you come up again, that you're going to end up on the good side. I mean, you have to learn, study, you got to do your purpose. I mean, if you try to kill yourself again, you may not end up on the right side. He was more concerned about me trying to kill myself again, which I was very suicidal. After I got back, the only thing that really kept me going is knowing what was waiting for me, but it was very difficult. Anyway, we made it alive anyway. God didn't punish us or say, we were terrible people or anything. I mean, He understood, and He's very fair. And I got my chance to talk to Him face to face. So that was pretty awesome. Well, then, it was time to go. And I don't know how Candy got back down to earth. But Yeshua said that He was going to meet up with me on the lawn on earth. And that I needed to go with Lurch. And so I'll make a new video starting with the prophetic stuff that he was showing me, but it was kind of like going going through, but now we're coming down. And gosh, I'm sorry, people. But I was like thinking, how are we going to get down? Is it going to be the same or whatever? And it was kind of different. So I was like hanging on to him like I did before. And he said, now you really need to hang on and don't lose grip, because this is very important that you get through. Well, we went down, and remember that dark, foggy stuff that we stopped in the tunnel? Well, we were in that, and we were going down, and we got to this just black. It was just sooty black, and I could feel like myself dying. It was just like it was taking away everything, and I'm like, I can't hang on anymore. And he's this, I'll get you through. I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, it was painful. I mean, now I know, like the seed of Satan, where they're gnawing, and yeah. So I almost didn't make it. But with the last ounce of energy I had, he pulled me through, and then we came back, and we were on the lawn in front of the house, and Yeshua was waiting for me. I don't know what happened to Candy. It's kind of weird. I think she came down later. But anyway, I was to meet up with Yeshua, and I saw him under the willow tree. And so I said, okay, thanks for getting me through. And he's like, no problem. Lurch is pretty cool. I love Lurch too. He's awesome. Anyway, I'm going to start a new video, which will be part 9. Okay, I will see you back again.